Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own not to control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. This is the standard episode that we typically have on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just want to thank you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate you all. We have listeners that have listened for years, and just want to always continuously thank them for listening. Trustees that listen. The episodes traditionally are going to be more and more catered towards trustees, but appreciate all the new listeners. Today's episode is 175 earnings season, and so we're just going to do what we traditionally do on Tuesdays. Just always making sure that we come to you all with the best type of information when we share, coming to the vault. It's not to be any type of legal advice or anything of that nature. So, just really excited about that. It's definitely not meant to be that at all. What it's meant to be is just open-ended conversation and conversation about what's going on in the marketplace right now. And what we see is going on in the marketplace right now is it is earnings season. It is the fourth quarter of 2019, and for that reason, we see that there's a lot of movement in the markets right now. We see all-time highs coming out of the market right now. We definitely can talk about the market. Let's just go ahead to the markets. We were on it earlier, and so when we look at the markets and we see what is this market? Here we go. We're getting ready to see the markets, and they were at all-time highs. So when we really look at where the markets are, ladies and gentlemen, things are looking. There we go. S&P's up 33. That one's up. The Nasdaq's up. The Dow is up. And so now we see even a 10-year Treasury note. So as we all can see, there are things going on in the marketplace that make things look really good right now. Um, and for that reason, we need to be prepared as people and say, okay, well, how's the market looking? The market has been called for by some of the best investors. They say when Warren Buffett speaks, people listen. So Warren Buffett's been a mentor to some of the greats, many of the greats, and he called for a recession. You all can go look at that. He's been called for that. It's not just, oh, he's calling it to say it to make it happen, but he has that type of voice. And there are real estate markets that are in what most people would consider top real estate equity markets that have been reported to have negative recently in the past, 4 or 5, 6 months, continuously right now in 2019, the ending. And so, why do we say it's earnings seasons? Because so many people say, "Oh, how is it earnings season? It's the fourth quarter." Well, aren't people going to be shopping at the stores? This is across the world. Maybe not everybody celebrates Christmas, but people celebrate where they have Rosh Hashanah, they have Hanukkah, they have quite a few foreign New Year's that come right after that. The year changes in the fourth quarter and the first quarter, you know. And this year we saw highs in the market, and we see highs again at the end of the year. And so when people, we did an episode, me and Cornell on the vault, it did an episode, you buy high, buy low, sell high. If it's high right now, who's taking their earnings? Who's taking their earnings? How are people taking their earnings if people are buying? The CEOs take their earnings right now. The executive take their earnings right now. It's earnings seasons for CEOs for American Express, top major CEOs of corporations. It's earnings season. This is where banks, CEOs of banks, make the most of their money. They're giving away the most amount of loans so people can purchase things on credit card. We're talking about the states. The states is an easy market to get wealthy in. We're seeing that right now. Earnings season. So the bonuses of these bank CEOs, traditional big banks, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the big boys. 60 million, 40 million, 20 million. Those are low compared to the earnings that the company's getting. These are billion-dollar companies. They're representing billion-dollar companies. The CEO's bonus is just an additional 20 to 40 million dollars because they're giving out loans. Now, people say, well, what does this have to really do with what I'm currently doing? Earnings season. How does this benefit the current business that I may possibly be in? Because I may be in a traditional small business now. We've done some recent research on a small business, and they say it's like less than a $30 million company, and that's traditionally where trust information was even dispelled to us as trustees was unless you were in the $30 million category, you didn't have a certain amount of information. And so we understand and know at the vault that the information gap is truly there. It's in education. So we're going to move forward with the fact that, okay, I have this so-called small business that's under $30 million, and how do I benefit from earnings season other than cutting my prices for Thanksgiving on Black Friday, for cutting my prices on Christmas, and benefiting the community at large and still making more money? Making deals. How? Earnings season right now is, we're going to go ahead and drop the dimes, the nickels, the quarters, the pennies that we pick up off the ground every day. Having a business plan in place, having 2 years tax return, making sure that we have a good accountant, making sure that we have a good lawyer. We make sure that we have at least 3 to 5 lawyers around for sure. Uh, Same thing with accountants. Executive summary is something that we always share and make sure that we say, hey, we want to make sure that we have when we're going into the bank. Earnings season is where the CEOs are giving out the most amount of money right now. Why? Because they want to make sure that they make the bank look good. The bank doesn't look good if it's not giving out loans. So they either give out loans to businesses or they give out loans to personal people. A lot of people personally guarantee loans, and for that reason, what happens? How many people are gaining credit off of their businesses? We see so many entrepreneurs put in. We see so many entrepreneurs and investors. Uh, when are they getting the major returns that they want? Major returns are when we sit in front of an investor and entrepreneur says, we're within the next year or two, we're going to be getting 100 to 300 times return. That's earnings season. 100 to 300 times what they're making, and it's already in the millions. That's just a big jump when you go from the 1 to the 100. But then from the 100 to the 300 is even bigger. Earnings season. So we say to, the guys and the gals that come through and they say, okay, we want to make sure that we're able to go into the bank. Look, go in the bank and ask them. We also say, why don't you have the business plan? A lot of times, a lot of people say, oh, I'm so stuck on a business plan. And we say, well, if you have the business plan, that's not the only thing they're looking for. You can go in and ask them that. That's why it's good to have the accountants and the lawyers around, because then they allow you to not make that simple mistake. But as coming from the vault, we talk to them, the lawyers and the accountants, from a position of strength. Earnings season is about trustees knowing that you're the last for your family to get it to where you can put it in a position to lock it in. Earnings season is taking risk. Recently we took the risk can be minor. We the risks are so minor, but the reward is so great. And in earnings season, we earn the right every single time to sit at the table because the families were able to come in a proper position. Earnings season is set up for the people in the proper structure. people that can maintain their privacy. Earnings season, we see so many entrepreneurs that are getting clobbered in the 30 and under group. For sure, they feel like they're getting clobbered, whether that's with any type of taxes, any type of employee situations, any type of lawsuit situations, and then just managing a company that's really a single company. A lot of times, we see a lot of entrepreneurs that are single owners. We see multiple partners as well, but a lot of the under 30 for sure is single partners, whereas in the 30 and up we see definitely multiple partners, and whether that's in LPs, GPs, whether we see that it's in they have what do they call them, MLLPs. They have multiple limited liability partnerships. I mean, they have a lot of different things out there, and you just talk to your accountant or lawyer, and they'll definitely share with you those different type of structures that you can move around and talk about and things of that nature. But earnings season, hopefully people that listen to the vault know that they earned it. It was like a strike of lightning for Trust Christian and the Vault when it came, because when it came, it was an immediate, like 15 minutes into the recording, we already knew this was it, because they were doing the history. Rockefeller. Oh, we know that name. He was a billionaire. They gave away the money. They made money giving it away. Earnings season. And we're sitting here saying, how do you. Well, we have. Look, here, the 30 and under crew, that means 30 million and under crew, they say, oh, I just want to make sure that I got enough money for my grandchildren. I'm not thinking about my children. I'm going to just do my grandchildren. I gotta make sure my grandchildren take it. I'm gonna make sure my children. They might go as far as 4 generations. It's really three, but it's four, because it's them and the three children, and they go 3 generations away. What is that? 100 years? Maybe 200 years. How does it stay in that position to where they can't lose it? Whether it's one, two, three, four, five, there's a system in place. The system in place is actually one of those ones where your family actually keeps track of your name. They keep track of your name. So you actually did something, and they keep track of your name. And this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen, for all it's worth. The sobering thought. It's about earnings on your name. As a fiduciary of your life, as a steward of your life, it's earnings season. Whether it's the fourth quarter, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, any quarter, it's earnings season. Earnings season looks like, they say 70% of the loans are made in the fourth quarter. Now, how does that sound? That means that 30% of the loans weren't even done in the beginning of the year. That means that it is time for people that are positioned properly to take advantage of the Fed having low interest rates, for all these banks having low interest rates, all of these places having low interest rates. These guys are saying that we got Warren Buffett saying that there is a recession, right? There's going to be one of those things. He says in the marketplace and talks about that term, uses that term. He got Billy O. Gates. He's we speak of these individuals because they're in the space that we're in, ladies and gentlemen, of earnings season. When we see, Bill Gates enjoy his plush life with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, making money, giving it away. That's just how it goes. We we'll share a secret admiration at the vault. There's a gentleman named Booker T. Washington. His name obviously is remembered in history. He's passed away. His name has passed away for probably 100 years now. But what he did was kept his name alive through a school by helping and making sure education is continued. And it was just admirable to see how he was able to acquire some of the more powerful, wealthy, what would today considered to be like a tech magnet. Back then they were considered a different magnet, and so he was around a lot of wealthy magnets. And at that time, he was able to build a school for what would be considered African Americans, and really it was just an awesome opportunity to see how he's buried right next to the school. Now I don't know how much that means, but he's his family. They're next to the school. You get to see what he was able to keep in place by making money, giving it away. Earnings season. His name's alive. His family's alive. He's recorded on the internet forever. He took a risk. He spoke in front of people. He was on the road. He was traveling. It's earnings season. He went against the odds. He was up from slavery. He wrote a passage called Up from Slavery. He was up from it, for sure. He raised the funds. He raised the funds back in the 1890s. So how is it that as we, as a people, can't say we can't raise the funds? The funds are available. They have minority funds. They have female funds. It's interesting because the wealthy speak a language. We reported that a brother we stood next to at a wedding recently literally said that his 12-year-old son has 8 properties. And it was interesting because you just don't hear that from the 30 and under crew. You just don't hear it. But he was over 30. And so he actually has a company that contracts with the government. They do IT solutions. And it's just a great thing to see, internationally as well. But it's earnings season, nationally and internationally. And so we recently had some trustees come to us and ask us some questions. We're going to answer some of those questions here for everybody that listens to the vault and everybody that comes and asks this question. How do you manage your time? You know, we're going to go ahead and recommend a book called Tough Minded Management. Forgot who that's necessarily by. I gotta remember the name, but I think it's Ringer. But Tough Minded Management is a really good book to one of the mentors recommended. When we recommend books, they were never negotiable. When the mentors say get a book, they'd be like, "Didn't I tell you to get the book last time I talked to you?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, definitely for sure." So it was never one of those moments with me. I don't have mentors say those type of things to me. That's not acceptable. So mentors, they would definitely say that to people, and I would even tell them like, "No, I already got the book for sure." I always had books. I would make sure they say it one time, and I had it the next time we met. And so you know, the earnings season is so many people listen to the vault and they say, oh, how long do I have before I have to make this quantum leap, before I make this jump into stewardship? That's what it is ultimately, ladies and gentlemen. So when are you gonna make your leap into stewardship as a trustee? When are you gonna make that leap? Oh, so many people have acres of land and land and land and land, acres of land. So many trustees or so many people that are out there. They just sitting on land. Their family has bequeathed them land in the wrong position, and they're mad because now why they have to go through legal processes. They have to figure out how to circumvent and navigate and make moves, and they're not happy about that. This is the 30 and under crew traditionally, but best believe you don't think someone cannot have a higher net worth and still can be in shambles. We can see that across the board, 70 million, 100 million plus. And so they bequeathed the land, and now, oh, they're hurting. I don't know how to maneuver with this. It's not really an asset. It's a liability. It's hurting me. I'm coming out of pocket. Traditionally, they're coming out of pocket. Earnings season says, oh no, we need to put it to work immediately, right now. We appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Wanted to definitely do an episode about just some of the basic technicals that if you're in your LLCs or your C corps out there or whatever you're in, just really making sure you're tight, make sure you got your stuff together before the end of the year. We really talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and investors, and that's one of the biggest things that we say is, are you tight with that type of stuff? We even talk to entrepreneurs. They're like, oh, you can do, minutes and corporate minutes in advance. It's like, well, why wouldn't you? And so just pre-planning for growth of the company is what they want to see. A business plan means you're going to jump to the next point and jump to the next point and jump to the next point, and so it should reflect so just really excited to come to you all and talk to you all about specific earnings season, how it looks long term, not just the immediate. Oh man, we literally have gotten away from to a degree, which would be passive income investments. Now we can say on the wealth side, that's what we're traditionally talking about. They're talking contracts on the private side. That's all they're talking about. On the public side, they're talking all this rigmarole, or they might be talking contracts, but then they actually try to let you own hard assets, and in turn, what happens? That puts you in a position of being liable. So, how are we going to maneuver and move through the game of earnings season? We're going to double down. It is the fourth quarter. What do you think the bank's doing? They're giving out more money right now than they have all year. Why? Because they already know most people are gonna put money on a credit card to go out and fund their festivities for the next 60 days. Okay. Since that's the case, they basically made the 30% that they gave out in loans, they already made that back already. That's why the market's up so high. Do you see a correlation? The market's high because they're giving away money. Now they're going to sell a position. We see how markets like to sell positions, but everybody comes to the phone and says, well, when do you think they're going to sell a position? Well, when do you think they're going to sell a position? There's no need to they say, that's the one thing we always never wanted to do was see that the market was gambling. Because it's not. It's predictable. What goes up must come down. That's like, we can just say that. Can we say that? It's the common information. It's common, but not everybody wants to make common sense of it. They want to make it illogical. That sounds too illogical to be true. They say it's too good to be true. Yep, you're right. And I guess if you keep taking it up, you'll feel an effect too. But what's causing it to go up? Who's buying right now? Who do you think's buying right now? The ones that have the equity. They're going out and funding the world, preparing stock, and all of that. And then what happens? Well, when we see we got new investors, we can take our money, right? Doesn't that sound right? We got new. That's what happens when you go public. When you go public, most CEOs are in a position of now, okay, we can do what? Do a corporate buyback. They did that in July this year. Most companies did. You can go back and look at the data. It's interesting to see that. So now we see it's the fourth quarter. Now, what would you be doing if you made $100 million a year? I mean, this is a plausible question for all the people that make $100 million a year. What would you be doing with, when you can make an additional $20 million? We can give that out in loans this quarter. Yep, the CEO level. Okay, so they gave out what, $21 million for BOA and Wells and Chase, and that sounds like almost $100 million in the market to go to who? What businesses? For what? We can talk about the markets across the states. The market has turned into a tourist jurisdiction. Everybody is getting off in the United States right now. I mean, Brazilians are coming to the states like no other. I mean, even though their money's not more valuable, these people, everybody wants to come to the states, and they're willing to spend the bucks. So they're willing to come to the states and spend the bucks, and the states is still riding high on its glory of it's a tourist destination. Everywhere else in the world, if they have one or two cities that people like to visit and travel to, that's fine. But the states is a major attraction still in the world. Earnings season. And aren't there American companies in other countries? So they're getting international money. But what happened to all the other Americans? Are they getting the slice of the pie of the international money or just the domestic money? And even in a domestic situation, there's still it's the market is drunk with cash, flooded with cash. And so that's why the focus right now, ladies and gentlemen, is really just putting the head down, focusing on the fourth quarter earnings, really just making it a point to really push through for taking your risk, doing every limit, get pushing past limits, every single day, and that's all it takes. It's just pushing past limits. We see that earning season has taken us to greater risk, and greater risk always equal greater reward. Uh, you know, it's just the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. So we're really excited to do an episode for you all with the earnings season. Hopefully it just gives you all some value that shares across the board. Some of the things that you can tidy up or even contact the vault for a consultation. Definitely look forward to hearing from you all. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, the email is Christian at trustchristian.com. We had a great workshop. I appreciate all the trustees getting a chance to meet them. I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't speak about this or speak about that, but the trustees that came to the workshop, everybody that listens, when we talk about the workshop, people say, well, how was it? When we talk about it, it's trustee training. The vault does trustee training, to meet the trustees and how the trustees, come in and really wanted to meet us. It was earnest season for them. They know what time it is in their life right now. You step up to the plate, you say, okay, I'm about to be that pillar. I'm about to go ahead and make sure that the rock stands with me, that the flag, the name, the family flag stands with me, and that's the only way it's gonna stand. Otherwise, you're scattering, it's wandering. And so, it's awesome to always be connected with the families in the room. It's always a blessing because there's a generational gap that's going to be skipped if people don't have it in a proper position. Everything, life. Why is it important? Because it wasn't taught. Right. Okay. It was a public school education. The private conversation, once again, if it's completely about passive, it's about contract. It's private. So we're talking a whole nother language over there. And I love it and it's fun. But when it comes to being able to say fourth quarter earnings on the public side, ladies and gentlemen, the hemorrhage of cash. We even talk to trustees all the time. Trustees all the time. They're in the LLCs, these C corps. They'll tell you that guess what? We gotta go into the bank and go sweat it out and actually go get the loan. You're right. You do. But you've been doing business properly, so reward yourself. Appreciate you all for tuning in live. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all. Fourth quarter earnings are going to change your life. We even heard that in the marketplace that most people started taking off in August. Now, if this is true, how? Who's making money then? The people that are selling. The people they're obviously selling something. I mean, clearly, fourth quarter earnings, right? This is what we're talking about today. It's the earnings season for who though? The banks. And unless you're a part of the lending mode, there's no benefit. We appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. It's always, like I say, an awesome opportunity to just come and share what we know we see out there when it comes to even the earnings season right now. Even, when we talk to trustees out there, we do our best to kind of reciprocate that information and share with you all so you all can say, oh, okay, that's what's really going on. We definitely do our best to bring as much value content as possible. But even when trustees ask this one question, and we've really heard this recently a lot, as they say, out of the time management. Just, one of the things you can say is, look, time management is just keeping track of every minute of every day. And that's just the bottom line. And the more disciplined we are with our time as trustees, we become the best stewards that we possibly can. Now, there's a different type of population out there. Some people, they haven't stepped up to the plate, haven't put themselves in a position where they can properly administer their lives in the estate. Okay, so then we go to, now that you are in that position, time management is definitely having a calendar. Everything has a calendar. Everything has a recorded. Everything has a minute. So many trustees ask, well, what about the minutes? What about the minutes? You always have minutes. Everything has minutes. Life has minutes. So you're counting the minutes. Some people say, wow, really? I'm not counting just hours. I'm counting the minutes. You're counting the minutes. So many trustees say, I don't know. What about time for this and time for that? I say, look, trustees, look, you can read a book for 9 minutes a day. It might seem minute, but if you keep reading it, point you'll just want to read more and you'll sit there and read more, or we just get to a point where eventually you'll finish it. Trustees, it's fourth quarter earnings for your life because now you've already put that responsibility in your hands. You can't say you didn't have one of the financial tools. You can't say that. You can't say that you didn't have a tool. I mean, there's a difference between when you got a ship and you got a cannon and you got single barrettes. It's different. But we talk about it all the time with the education. Trustees, what do you value the most? Do you even value the education as opposed to the tool? But if you know the tool is the education, the details of the education, it's the education. Why do you think Booker T went into the education? How can he hang around the 1%? It's because of the education. And he was a slave or ex-slave or whatever he was. But how did he do it? It's because he was what? He was on the information. He was a teacher. He was reading the books. He was in a law library. One of the trustees, stories for days. But you're not going to find this information in a public library. It's in a law library. That's where Booker T went. The trustees that listen and they know, they go. We got trustees. If you haven't spent even 30 hours in a law library, there's nothing to talk about. 30 hours is what you get in the 12-week program. Traditionally, it sounds close to that. specifically through content, trusteeship. It's actually more than that. It's like when you listen to the vault, you have over 50 hours of content. Well, in trustee training, you get over 30 hours of content. That's a serious amount of hours in the content. And then we move into it's a continuing education program, and you move into what you're doing already: trusteeship, CEOship, foundership, contract, right? Oh, okay. It's earnings season, ladies and gentlemen. It's not cold where we're getting or where we're going. It's getting warmer. So we appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Once again, we're always going to say that. Never need to stop saying that. So it's important to let you all know that we appreciate you all, because listening this far means something to the vault and what you all are listening to. And it is only to present value for you to know what earning season is. To the vault, to what's considered to be the space that we're in, which we're talking about family office, private equity, when we're talking about different realms of business and entrepreneurship. We aim to talk about those things in a manner in which we're sitting next to entrepreneurs and saying, hey, if you're in the earnings season, are you focused on cutting off the fat, getting rid of liabilities? Maybe not. Maybe yes. Appreciate you all for tuning in live to earnings season. Feel free to email Christian at Trust Christian. Look forward to hearing from you all. Peace.